Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Dykhuis. I am a labor and delivery nurse and I do lots of reading. Just a little shout out here to Emily Labengoof for telling me that I need to make my books into a tree, and I did, and I never filmed in front of it. So your December wrap up is going to be me and my book Christmas tree. So for starters, I got a new tripod and it's probably going to fall over because it's not stable on carpet. So I'm going to have to do some troubleshooting with that in the future. But let's do a December wrap up. And then later today, I'm going to film my best of 2025. I'm very excited. Such a fun year to look back on. I read a lot of books. Okay, December. I think I did 14 books in December. And that was pretty good with a Disney trip in the middle of it and the holidays and just being unmotivated, especially with some really good television on. I don't know where my heated rivalry girlies are at. I have not read the books yet. But if it's going to be like a year or two before we get a second season, I'm gonna read them. I know the books are sold out everywhere right now, so here's hoping in the next few months they get their shiz together and reprint some because the angst, the love, so good. But also the Stranger Things finale. So yeah, just so much good TV. So good. So in December, I read finally a book that I have owned for over a year. So I got this as my book of the month in December of 2024, but I didn't want to read it like in the summer, so I waited and read it, and it did not disappoint. This was a 5-star book. I loved it so much. So our main character, her name is, I don't actually know if I wrote it down. Oh, Maggie. So Maggie is like a cozy mystery writer, and Eleanor Ashley, yes, is this, I feel like she's like an Agatha Christie. So like one of the best writers of all times, like she worships her. Well, Eleanor invites Maggie and her arch nemesis, Wyatt, to her house for Christmas. And while they're there, Eleanor goes missing. So they have to solve like what happened to her. And there is romance and mystery, and it's just good. It's such a good book. So I highly recommend this, especially in the Christmas season. It was worth waiting for. Then my book club chose number 3 in a series, which it was like, I don't think it mattered in the series, except maybe I would have liked the characters more. So Christmas at Little Beech Street Bakery. This, I'm so sorry, but this was a big disappointment to me. So I gave it 2 stars. Like, it was fine, but it didn't have Christmas vibes, which I think could have saved it. Like, it was set at Christmas, and that is it. Our main character, like, I don't even remember any of the names because the characters annoyed me so much. So spoiler if you're gonna read this. I hated it. So our main character is, like, in this long-term relationship where she's going to get married, but she's having a lot of weird cold feet about it, and she doesn't know why. Her friend got knocked up, but she also cheated on her husband, and so they're like weirdly trying to keep this a secret and like reassure her that like it's fine and the baby's gonna not be black or whatever. And I hated that storyline because it was like her husband's like a dick, so it was like, if he's such a dick, break up with him. But she was like, I love him so much, but then she also cheated on him. Like, these are kind of awful people. So why are we rooting for them? That was the vibe. And there's a lot of other like side character things that maybe I would have cared about more if I knew these characters more, but it was, yes, this was just problematic and I didn't like it. So 2 stars. Thankfully, it was a pretty quick audiobook, so I listened to it. It didn't like take up a bunch of my time, but still a little bit sad that it was one of my like 3 holiday reads and I did not enjoy it at all. Then I finally got around to reading the second book of Stephanie Garber's, I forget what the first one was, like something about heartbreak. So this is The Ballad of Never After. And so we're continuing. So Stephanie Gerber wrote Caraval. So they're like, I think they're more like YA books that are like fantasy and like fairy tale adjacent. So our main character is, she married a prince in the last book. And it was kind of like more convenience because she's got like a lot going on with this other character. But like he's the Jack of Hearts. It's confusing. Like when I'm reading it, I'm enjoying it, but when I try to sum it up, it's like I don't really know what happened. So, but there's like this arch that they're trying to open, so Evangeline has to find keys to open the arch, but she like doesn't know what anyone's loyalties are. And then she ends up having some like magical powers, and like, so it's very much like you don't know what's going on, and that's kind of, I think, where the author wants you to be. So this is the second out of 3, I believe. So A Curse for True Love, I think, is the third one, and I will be reading it because I enjoyed this. So I gave it 4 stars. It was good. It scratched the itch of what it needed. And then I read Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This was very enjoyable. So I really liked it. I wouldn't say it was perfect. I gave it 4 stars, but it just like scratched that holiday itch. The romance was good. Some good smut. So our main character is visited by, oh, I hate that this sticker is stuck here. Our main character, her name is Harriet York. She's visited by the ghost of Christmas past, but she's like, dude, I'm a good person. Like, why are you here? And so they're like going back through her memories, and she's like, I feel like this is exactly what I would be like. Like, be like, yeah, I must be awful. Like, show me. And he's like, oh yeah, but like I can't find anything that's awful. And so they're like going through her memories, and then they like get into one of his memories, and it's which he's like freaked out by. So they're definitely from like different times because he lived in like the 1920s, I think, was when his like original timeline was. And they're like falling in love, and there's some good smut, and they're trying to figure out like why they're linked together. So this was a good time. I don't love the like Christmas Carol trope, but like if it's done well, I'll watch it. That's fine, or listen to it. Good Spirits was well done. I really liked it. 4 stars. I mean, looking at it retrospectively, 4.5 probably. And this was a beautiful sprayed edges. I think it was a Target cover, but this was a delight. So if you didn't read it this season, maybe put on your list for next season. It was good. I got to the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe. So this is Daisy Hates. She is just loosely associated with Magnolia Parks. Like they have acquaintances that hang out with each other. So because of that, we get involved in Daisy and Christian's love story. And Daisy's brother is also like a mob boss. So there's a lot of like violence and danger involved in this one. Honestly, it's just like rich people behaving badly, like high society in Britain, and it's a good time. So I gave it 4 stars. It also like reads really quickly because there's a lot of like mixed media in here and like text messages. So it's just so easy to read. I will be continuing in this series. I actually don't even know what the next one is, but 4 stars for that one. And then I read House of Earth and Blood. So I actually read half of this a few months ago, and I finally finished the second half. And I gotta say, guys, I think I have to be done with Sarah J. Maas. I'm just not a fan. And this I just wildly didn't care. So Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, it's like 8,000 pages. Okay, it's 803. I listened to audiobooks, which the audiobook, like the dramatized version, is not necessarily for me. It's very jarring when you're just like driving down the street and an alarm, like a siren is going off. It feels like it maybe should be illegal in dramatized things because I'm trying to drive on the road and not just like pull off to the side because I think an ambulance is coming by. Yeah, so she like just like makes up creatures and doesn't explain them. And there's just like not really like good character development. We're supposed to care about these people within like the first 5 seconds with no backstory and no explanations. And I feel like she did this in Throne of Glass too. And then she wrote an entire book to make you care about this character that she was like, oops, forgot to character build. And so I really think the only reason I continued in Throne of Glass is because I did have that Assassin's Blade like novella or like short story collection that made me care about Selena, because otherwise I don't care about her. And how do you carry a fantasy story without caring about the characters? Like, maybe you can do that in fiction when you're like trying to sell a story, but in fantasy, like, I need to be able to suspend my disbelief and follow this character and love them enough to be like, yeah, this is totally plausible that you like have all these magical powers. So without that, it's just very hard. And in this, like, honestly, I couldn't even really give you a good synopsis of what happened in the book because I just had zero Fs for this character. I honestly don't even know if I know her name. So 2 stars, probably my lowest rated book of the month. And I think I need to be done. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people love her, and that is so great for you. And I'm so happy. There are books that I love that people hate. So we can agree to disagree on that. And I am glad if you get enjoyment out of her, but I think I need to be done because it just becomes me hating her. And then it's not healthy. It's not healthy for me over here. Then when I was on vacay, I was like, okay, I'm going to read some ebooks that I've just like had waiting, and I can't find it now, but I will. So a book that I didn't know was being released, and then it got released, and I love it. Okay, so Sister Wives, the show, I watched originally for like 5 or 6 seasons, and then I didn't have cable, and I have my friend's HBO login now, and I've like been like watching like every like 3rd or 4th episode for like the past like 10 seasons because there's like 21 seasons or something absolutely ridiculous. And so I'm caught up on the Sister Wife drama, and I love it so much because like these women that I was like, you are stronger than this, you are better than this, they've like fought against this narcissistic man and divorced him, all of them. But my favorite of the Sister Wives has always been Christine Brown. She is now remarried, and so she's telling the story. And like, honestly, like I've watched 20 seasons of Sister Wives, and I still did not know half the shit that went down. And I just love to see an unfiltered Christine, and like, she is such a strong woman, and I'm so excited. And I also loved her kids the most. Just love it. So this book was 5 stars. I read this in Disney, like between ridiculously long days. But I loved it. So if you've watched Sister Wives and you love it, this book is so good. I would honestly love to see Janelle write a book because I think Janelle has kept so much bottled up inside. And she is, I think, probably the smartest of the Sister Wives. And she's kept track of all the finances. And I would just love to hear what she says. I think Mary is still absolutely in love with him and would go back with him in a minute. So I feel really sad for her. Okay, so then I don't even know how I heard about this book before I let go. I feel like this is on quite a few people's lists, but by Kennedy Ryan. I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into. This book was beautiful. I mean, the cover is gorgeous, but the story and like pregnancy loss was so well handled. It actually made sense from a labor and delivery nurse perspective, which does not happen much with pregnancy, but it was so good. So Yasmin and Josiah, we are post-divorce. They own a restaurant together, and they have 2 children. So they are still like very much negotiating that. So Yasmin went through a pregnancy loss, and there was a lot of like self-blame, other blame, and a lot of severe depression after a pregnancy loss. So like they worked through this, and the way that they worked through it was to get divorced, but now like Yasmin's kind of like coming out of her depression, and she's like, oh shit, I think I still love this man. And this book is so good. So it was just like well handled and like good, and the smut was good and the yearning was good. But it still felt like they were such adults about it, and I loved it. Like, it was not miscommunication. It was like, I'm trying to be careful with your heart. But like, I also, like, if you're not ready, I can't keep lingering here. Oh, it was perfection. So I did give it 5 stars, and I put the second book in the series right on my TBR. So I don't know when I'll get to that, but this is a slept on series. There are not enough people that are talking about this series. So especially like love, like in your, I feel like they're probably in their 30s, like love in your 30s, after divorce, like these are some of the stories I want. Like, I love a good, like, I'm in my 20s, I'm magically falling in love, but like that is not where most romance readers are, I don't think. Because I personally am 38 and single, and yeah, like give me some middle-aged love stories, and even late in life love stories. Like, come on. Okay. I finally, this book has been on my list for years, like actual years. It was published in 2020. I read Killing Crazy Horse. This is another of the Killing series. Probably pretty low on my list of the Killing stories. So Killing Lincoln, Killing Kennedy would be top of the list. This is probably one of my lowest, just because I feel like instead of like the stories for Killing Kennedy and Killing Lincoln were so like well presented, cohesive. It's like one spot in time. This is taking like 30 years of Native American settling America conflict and trying to concisely tell the story while introducing like hundreds of characters over 300 pages. So it was well told, but not my favorite in the Killing series, but also like horrific. The things that the Native Americans did to the settlers, and also the settlers to the Native Americans. Like, what a legacy, America. What a legacy. I don't know. I would probably give this like 3.5 stars. It was fine. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. All right. I have been kind of slowly working through my back catalog for Catherine Center. She's one of my like automatic reads. And so I read Everyone is Beautiful. I don't know which year this was published in, but it was fine. So the story is we have a mom who's lost her identity and she has to find it back. That is the whole story. And if you love those kinds of stories, you'll probably like this. Catherine Center is a very good writer. So I did say interested, but this is not my favorite kind of story. So it very much was like, I know exactly what's going to happen. There were a few things that were like, oh, that's fun. But yeah, I think I gave it 3.5 stars. Like, it was fine. Wouldn't recommend. My new purchase of the year for holiday books was How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. I feel like I'd heard of this last year and the year before. The new one this year was Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, which I did not get to, so I'm saving that for next year. So that is in the same universe as this. So our main character, her name is Story, and she goes back to her aunt's house who allegedly broke her hip, and her sister are going to like take care of her during the holidays. She used to go there all the time and stopped going when she was, I think, like 16 or 17. And so there's a boy here who she like grew up with, and he's pissed at her and she doesn't know why. So we unpack that story while they're also in competition, because so Kringle, I think, is the town that they live in. So, and they have a competition every year to be the Christmas Kringler, and they have Christmas year round. So it's kind of like a Frankenmuth vibe that they lean like way heavier into. So Christmas all the time, they're competing to be this Christmas Kringler. So they're around each other all the time. The competition was fun. This, even though it's super chunky looking, it read really fast. The smut was good. It's like enemies to lovers, but like not, you know? So it was cute. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah. I listened to, and this like got all messed up in my list. So I read it way earlier in the month, but somehow I never put it like on my TBR, so it didn't track that I read it. So The Maid Secret. This is the 3rd in the Maid series. So The Maid by Nita Prose is about a neurodivergent maid who she's not dumb, but she's a little bit Amelia Bedelia. Like, she just like misses a lot of social cues. She's very blunt. She is a delight. She's amazing at her maid job. Like, if somebody tells her a rule, she'll do it to a T. And so in the first book, someone is murdered and she's like doesn't know enough to protect herself, so she's just like, yeah, I found the body, and like gets all embroiled in this. I forget what the second book is, but so good. Another like murder happens, and in The Maid Secret, she like there's not a murder immediately, but she's like engaged, and she has this Fabergé egg from her deceased grandmother that she brings to like an Antiques Roadshow kind of show that they're hosting at the hotel that she works at. So she brings it. Well, spoiler alert, the Fabergé egg is like a real Fabergé egg. It's worth millions of dollars. And so then she has to deal with like, where did this egg come from? She learns more about her grandmother and her mother, and people are trying to convince her to like sell this egg. There's a lot. Like, it's such a good book. It was honestly just like perfection, especially after some, like a lot of my 3 and 3.5 star reads that I had this month. This was so good. Such a breath of fresh air. Like an audiobook that I was like, oh, I can't wait to listen to that. So I did give it 5 stars because it just felt perfect. And I know that there's another book in this series out that's pretty fresh. I think it had a Christmas theme, so I should have tried to get it in, but I think it's too new for me to have gotten on it. And then you may or may not have seen half of these books I had already done like Instagram reels on, because I was like unwrapping them. So books that have been on my TBR for a while. So my May of 2025 book, The Bombshell, I read. This was my last that I read, so my pretty fresh Instagram post. Just squeaked this one in. I think I finished it on the 29th maybe. So The Bombshell is about a girl named Severine. She's a French girl whose dad is in the government in Corsica. So Corsica is like a colony of France, apparently. But they want their own independence. Severine gets kidnapped as leverage for a political prisoner and like money from the government. So she is absolutely ridiculous and has really just all of the wrong motivations. She wants to be famous. She wants to be beautiful. And so she is like, hey, I'm going to join, like, instead of being ransomed out, because they don't ransom her out, she joins and becomes the figurehead of this revolution. She's incredibly violent because she doesn't actually give a shit about other people. And so everything devolves. I mean, it was an interesting story. I just was not interested in the story. Does that make sense? Like, kind of what kept me going was like, what's she gonna do now? And also, like, how are they gonna wrap this up? Because I just don't see this going well. And yeah, annoyingly, because she is a white chick, she gets away with everything. And then we have like an epilogue that goes on way too freaking long. So I don't know. I probably gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I wouldn't recommend it. It was interesting to like have a story set in the 90s, because I have literally no idea what was happening then, especially over in Europe. But yeah, Severine's kind of a bitch. So like when you don't really like the main character, it's a little hard to like root for her. But she got away with everything. And my last book of the year, I finished on New Year's Eve, Accomplice to the Villain. So this is the 3rd in the Assistant to the Villain apprentice to the villain, and this is accomplice to the villain. And I just don't know if I can continue in this series. So I would say Apprentice to the Villain, I think I gave it 5 stars. It was a delight. Very much like, so our villain is not actually a villain, but he thinks he is. And I mean, like they're like attacking the king and things like that. So like they are the villain, but it's on the side of justice. So it's more like a Robin Hood situation. So our main character, Evie, is hired as his assistant. There's automatically like romantic sexual tension between them. Evie is very sheltered. And there is a frog that goes around like holding up signs. So like they have all the signs on the book. And I mean, right away I clocked that he was like a frog prince because he wears a crown all the time. Evie is a little bit dense when it comes to like things that are happening. So there are different like spells and curses that we're trying to like figure out. The first story was immaculate. The second one was like okay, but we're just like dragging the storyline out. Like we still have barely gotten kisses in between these main characters. And now in Accomplice to the Villain, I cannot tell you what actually occurred in this book because we didn't progress really at all in the storyline until like the last 2 chapters, and it was done. And we are so invested in every side character having a will they, won't they storyline. And it's like, I literally cannot keep them straight. Like, there's like 5 or 6 romances that this book is trying to follow. And it's too much. It's too much. So I don't know if she's like trying to give us those so that she can keep the main characters not together for longer. I don't know. Like I need Tristan and Evie to physically come together, or I need to like break a curse or something. But it feels like I would be interested in it, like, because this is I think Apprentice to the Villain, or the first one, Assistant, was this, I think it was self-published. And then it got picked up because it was so good. And then now, like, obviously she's a new author. And I don't know if, like, the editors are not helping her or if she's just trying to, like, crank these out too soon. I would be interested in what, like, a next series would be for her because I think she's got good ideas. It's taking too long. There's too many books to read for you to write this story that maybe would have taken 3 books, and you're going to try to drag it out as long as possible. So that's the feeling that I'm getting from it. Okay. Those are my December reads. I actually read more holiday than I thought. Right? I read 4 holiday books. But they just, like, none of them, besides, yeah. I mean, I would say Good Spirits was good. Okay, I read 2 holiday books in the beginning that were amazing. And then it felt like weird, like just books I read just to get them done. And so I am excited because in January, my plan is just read what I want. That's it. That's the plan. That's the TBR. Read whatever you want. So I have a lot of physical books I'm excited about. I have a lot of audiobooks I'm really excited about. It's going to be such a good year. See you soon.